Hi everyone, Lisa here for the Graphics Fairy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the pages, which are also known as signatures, for the realistic looking faux old book journal cover that we made last week. And if you missed that video, I'll put the link down below so that you can go and check it out and make one of these for yourself. So I just wanted to show you one more tip before we get started on the pages. If you take a pencil and you put it in the center of the spine, and then carefully bend the spine around the pencil, you can get a really nice curved spine, which just adds an extra little touch of realisticness to the journal cover, I think. So go ahead and give that a try. And now let's get started with the signatures. So this journal is going to have 3 signatures, and a signature is basically a bundle of papers. And all I did was set up kind of an assembly line and made a lot of tea-dyed paper. I just took a 13 by 9 glass dish, poured in a pot of tea, and then about 4 or 5 pages at a time, I put them into the 13 by 9 dish, left them for at least an hour, a couple hours, and then I took them out, dried them on paper towels, and I laid mine out on a piece of window screen that I had to dry. So I just kept doing that over the course of, a couple days, and until I had enough paper for the signatures. Each signature that I have made is made up of 8 sheets of paper. So one sheet would be like this. I have 8 of them. And then when they're folded in half, that will give you 16 pages for your journal. And I've made 3 of those. And you'll see here, this is one of the printable journal pages from the Graphics Fairy Premium membership site. And I've included some of those in as well with just the plain tea-dyed paper. You do need to look for the pages that you can cut down, because this journal is a bit of an odd size. It's a little smaller than a typical, 5 by 7 journal. So I looked for journal pages that you could cut without wrecking the design. And so you can add those if you like. A lot of people prefer to embellish their pages before they sew them in. I'm kind of going to do the opposite today. I'm going to sew them in and then I'll embellish them. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It works either way. If you're going to be doing any sewing on the pages, then you'll want to do that before you sew the signatures in, because you can't get it in the sewing machine if they're attached to the cover. All right, so whatever paper you decide to use, just get 8 sheets cut for each signature, and I just did about a 1/2 inch short of the journal cover when deciding what size paper to use. So get all of your pieces cut and then get them nice and neatly tamped down and arranged exactly how you would like them to be, and put a little clip, and that will hold them all in place while you're doing the sewing. Okay, so once you have those all ready to go, then you just need to create a little template, and this will show you where to put your holes in your signatures in order to sew them into the journal. So all I've done is created a cardboard template the size of my spine. You'll see that it's the width of the spine and it's a little short of the length or height, I guess you would say. It's about a 1/4 of an inch shorter on each end, basically the same length as your end papers. It doesn't matter, it's not that critical of a measurement for this. Okay, and then once you have that piece cut, you are going to want to mark the center line, which I've already done, but I'll just go over it so you can see. All right. And then you're going to want to make 2 more lines, one on each side of this, and I do a 1/2 inch from the center line to create those lines. So just measure in from the center line and mark a 1/2 inch. And I've already done that. So now I'm ready to just connect those marks and make my 2 lines on this side. This will all make sense in a minute when we start doing the sewing. Okay, so now I have 3 lines, and now you want to find the center lengthwise, which I have done, and mark the center that way. And then I just took my ruler, I measured up 2 inches from there and made another line, and 2 inches below and made another line there. Now you're ready to poke some holes, and to do that I have an awl. You could use any sharp pointy object to do this, and you will need to put some cardboard, or in this case I'm just using a magazine underneath so that when you poke the hole it won't ruin your tabletop or your workshop top. So now I'm just going to poke holes where the lines intersect. So we're going to have 3 rows of holes, 3 holes in each row. And you just find where the lines meet up and twist your awl through. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, just like that. And we're going to do that for all 3 rows and 3 holes per row. Once you make one of these templates, then you can use it again and again, especially if you're doing a similarly sized journal. So this is something you only have to do once, and then you can save it, and you can skip this step next time. Okay. All right, so there we have our template, and now we are going to cut some fabric. I've gone ahead and cut the width of the fabric. You just want a 1-inch overlap on each side of your spine, approximate overlap. And now I'm going to mark where to cut the end. You just want to leave a little bit so that you can tuck it under neatly. So that should be good about there. And I just have a cutting board and a rotary cutter. I'm going to line that up and with my ruler mark it and give it a quick cut. Okay, so all right, so then you have your piece of fabric, and we're going to mark the location of the holes using our template. And I just have a marker here, a fine line marker. Let me put this so you can see well. Okay, so you want to really hold this steady when you make your marks. And once you have those marked, I don't know if you can see it, I can see it, and then take an awl, or in this case I'm using a skewer to create the holes. And that's all there is to it. And now we're just going to sew those signatures to this fabric, and we'll glue it into the journal cover. Okay. Now we're ready to make the holes in our signature. So just open it to the center, get it nice and tamp down in exactly how you would like it, and then you can clip each side of it to hold it in place while you sew it. Okay, so here is the template. You just want to carefully align that in the middle of the spine. Make sure that it lines up just in the center there. I'm going to make a little poke with my needle and just check it, and yep, it's right in the center there. So then I'm going to mark all 3 holes. I'm going to use an awl or a skewer to poke through all 8 sheets of paper, just in the 3 center holes of your template. And then I like to just take my needle and make sure that it's poked through all 3, which it is. I've threaded my needle. This is a pretty big, kind of an upholstery needle. I've threaded it with some, this is button and carpet thread. That was my grandmother's, but any kind of heavy duty thread or quilting thread will work just fine for this. So now we're going to sew. And what we're going to do is, since this is my first signature, we're going to sew it in the left hand row of dots. So first, take your thread and come up in the center of your signature. Pull your thread through. Leave about a 6-inch tail, and I like to clip that to the clip so that then I make sure I don't lose it, that I don't pull it through by accident. And then you're going to go through the center row, the left-hand dot of your fabric, and pull that through. Then you want to go through the upper dot on the fabric, and then through the upper hole that you made on your signature. Pull it through, and you'll have your first stitch like this. Okay, pull it pretty tight, and now flip it over, and you're going to go down here to the bottom hole in your signature, put your needle through, and put the needle through the bottom hole in the fabric. Pull it tight. So now you can see this is all the way across in the center, and now you're going to go back through the center hole of your fabric and your signature. Push it through, pull it tight, and that's what you'll have on the outside. Here's what you'll have on the inside. And I'm just going to trim the tail and then just double knot it tightly, and voila. I almost tied it in a bow, like a square knot. And then you can leave these dangling if you like. A lot of people like to add little charms or beads or something to the inside. That would be up to you, but so you can see that quickly we have our first signature sewn to our fabric, and now I'm going to go sew the other 2, and then we will glue it inside our cover. I have finished sewing all 3 signatures in, and this is what it will look like on the opposite side of the fabric. You can see they're all sewn in, and now we're just going to glue them down into the spine. So center them up, and see where we have this overhang. I'm going to put some glue on that and fold that in so that we have a nice neat seam at the top, and I'm using some tacky glue here. I like to use this because it's pretty thick. I'm just gonna fold that over like that, and I'll let that dry for just a minute or 2. I'll come back and we'll glue this into the spine. All right, that's pretty well dried now. So I'm just gonna put a healthy amount of tacky glue all over on my spine and where that fabric overlaps onto the end paper. You want to be pretty generous with the glue. And then just take your fabric and center it right down over that. You want to straighten out your edges of your fabric on both sides. All right, that's pretty good. I might need a little more glue right here, I think. And then you're just going to kind of hold this up for a few minutes. Give it a chance to catch. It works pretty well if you use this tacky glue. It sets up pretty quickly, which is why I like to use that. So I'm just going to hold it in place like this, and also you can press in between your signatures in the middle. Make sure it's all stuck down really well. Just hold it up like this for a few minutes. I'll come back in a minute. Okay, are you ready for the big reveal? Here we go. Here is the outside and the inside, and you can see how the fabric overlaps the end paper a bit. We have our pages, and voila! I kind of love it. It's really not hard to do. I hope you're not intimidated. It's hard to show on camera, but once you try it yourself, it's really not that hard, and it didn't take me long at all to sew those in. So I hope that you'll give this a try, and please come back next week because I'm going to show you some more fun things that we can add to this journal to make it look really amazing. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please give the video a like, subscribe here at the Graphics Fairy YouTube channel, and if you would like to get notifications whenever we post a new video, be sure to hit the bell button. Have a great week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.